The Science of Mind magazine, yes, the daily guides. Sunday, the 22nd of June, 2025. Here we go. Looks like it's been raining here, which is kind of surprising. I was down at our church for, well, spiritual center actually, for, about 3 or 4 hours today because we did a memorial service, which is why I'm wearing purple. The lady whom we were commemorating loved purple. So lots of us dressed up in purple. It didn't rain down there as far as I know, and then I came back here and I saw it had rained. What does that have to do with today's reading? Probably not very much, but I found it interesting anyway. So here we go. I'm going to delve right into it and then I'm going to explain afterwards. Okay? So take it as it is. Don't hang up because you may think it doesn't apply to you, but the bottom line is the way I'll explain it is it does apply to you. It applies to everybody. So here we go. It's called Living Beyond the Beyond. Living Beyond the Beyond. And the first quote is from Natasha Al-Womack in Afrofuturism, the world of black sci-fi and fantasy culture. But she's a lot more than just a writer of sci-fi. She's an author, filmmaker, dancer, independent scholar, and champion of humanity and the imagination. So there you go. She says, I'm not saying get rid of those 12 notes. I love what music has done and what it will be. But as a musician who is concerned about music, I say, what's beyond those 12 notes? Well, I am not able to comment on that. And Ernest Holmes says, the stars in the heavens are beyond counting. The grains of sand on the beaches are innumerable. The leaves on the trees continue to multiply. Nature is lavish, abundant, extravagant. And that was from Discover a Richer Life, page 54, paragraph 1. And to say the stars in the heavens are beyond counting, if you've ever been in a place where there's very little light and you can really see the whole sky, it is unbelievable what you see from our limited ability within metro areas. It's really limited. So sometime, if you've never done it, find a place that's got a lot less light. And if you can, go to places like Big Bend in Texas, where you really can see the stars. Anyway, Ernest Holmes is quoted here. He says, if the universe is as Holmes describes, why did we spend so much time erecting walls of limitation? And Holmes says, right, stars are beyond counting, grains of sand on the beach are innumerable, leaves in the trees continue to multiply, and nature is lavish, abundant, and extravagant. He then asks, do we believe what he said? Or I would say, do we believe this? We live based on our beliefs, whether conscious or unconscious or subconscious. Are we willing to excavate and examine our beliefs to arrive at a more expansive experience of spiritual truth? Have you ever been asked to rate something on a scale of 0 to 10? He says, at some point, I realized I wanted to know if something was beyond 10, and if so, I wanted to experience it. Living beyond the beyond, what I refer to as trans-spiritual living, is living beyond the boundaries someone else set for us. As Natasha Al-Womack asks, what's beyond those 12 notes? If we do not question what is beyond the current operating systems, how can we ever evolve and create a world that works for all? As a quote often attributed to Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I'm not sure if that was Einstein. Maybe Einstein did say it. I don't know if he originated it. And then he goes on to say, and this is not just the day-to-day systems of politics, education, healthcare. He says, I'm also referring to going beyond an anthropomorphic God. I'll come back to this. A trans-spiritual life is one where we take to heart Ernest Holmes' words, quote, For the only God you and I will ever know is the one we embody. Never forget that, unquote. He finishes by saying, accepting that we can move beyond the idea of a God that exists somewhere out there to the embodiment of God right here. What he's saying there is a philosophy, if you want, it's a spiritual idea that's prevalent in New Thought. It's also prevalent with the mystics throughout the ages of every spiritual dimension you can think of, Christian, Muslim, etc., etc. The idea is that God brought everything into existence, but God is all there is. And that because God is all there is, you and I are expressions of God. We're not the whole of God. I mean, some people say, I'm God, but they shouldn't mean, hopefully they don't mean that they're all that is, that they're God and that's everything. No. What I hope they mean is that they are an expression of the divine, an expression of the one life. And as expressions of the one life, we have the power flowing through us, which enables us, with our beliefs, our thoughts and feelings, to actually begin to create a world that works for everyone. So what he's saying is, to people who believe in an anthropomorphic God, think, is that truly what God is? But having said that, I'm going to counter with this. Ernest Holmes said, never take away somebody's idea of God unless you can give them a better one to replace it. And he also insisted that all forms of prayer work. So the bottom line is this. If you truly believe with your whole being that something's going to happen, that you have the thought of that and you have the feeling wrapped around it that it's going to happen, then it will happen irrespective of what your idea of God is. Because whether you believe it or not, the power of the divine is flowing through you and you connect to it with your thought and your feeling. And that is what produces the magic. And that's exactly, as I often say, what Jesus said, it's done unto you as you believe. It's as simple as that. So that's my message for today. I was down at Carito Spiritual Center, as I said, we left here at 10:20 and we got back at 4 o'clock. So you can figure it out for yourself. So we were gone like for 5 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm kind of spiritualized out for today in a good way, but that's good. I'm just going to give you the affirmation. I would suggest if you use it, read it and think about it. But I would suggest beyond that, if you're going to use it, write it down. Because as my former mentor, Bob Proctor, said, and I've mentioned on numerous occasions, when you actually write something down physically and then you speak it out loud, you're engaging all three modalities. And that actually engages your whole brain and your whole spirit better. So, and I would suggest you use it simply as a means of contemplate. What does it mean? Think about it. What does it mean? I don't think it's one that you could keep repeating as an affirmation till it happens. Maybe you could, but I couldn't. I create using new notes, new colors, new ideas, and new systemic ways of being that have equity, justice, belonging, compassion, health, and wellness as their foundation. And I am not going to repeat it. So my colleague who I was with today for like over 4 hours, along with a lot of other people, will be here. No, she won't be here. She will be on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page at about 9:15 tomorrow morning. And assuming my mediation, I mediate Mondays, assuming my mediation finishes on time, I will be back about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. But until then, my prayer is simply this, that I know that each and every person listening to this receives the message that is intended for them, that is perfect for them. And I claim in that divine law that this is so, and I let it go with gratitude and say, and so it is. So, namaste.